Hello, friends. This is Awan Film Critic from Cineblues, and I'm pleased to tell you that today we have the creator of the Duranga series, which streamed on Z5, which has been streaming on Z5, and that is none other than producer director Goldie Behl. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, and thank you to all the hearers, listeners, viewers for the love, and thank you, Awan. Nice meeting you.
Yeah. So, sir, can you please tell me how did the idea of Duranga come to your mind? I know Duranga. I watched Duranga. I reviewed the film as well, and it's based on the Korean series, Korean film, South Korean series, Flower of Evil. So, how did that idea come to your mind? Yes, we will adopt it. We'll adapt it in the context.
Ever since K-pop has become popular in India, K-dramas and became popular, and there was a big fan following of Korean culture and Korean entertainment in my office. And there was a young girl who was a creative director on the show. She suggested that I watch this series, Flower of Evil, and I saw it and I really liked it. Yeah. And I felt that it could make for a good adaptation for our Indian audiences as well. So we reached out to CJ, the Korean makers, Studio Dragon, and we optioned the rights, and that's how this whole process started. And fortunately for us, we pitched it to Nimisha ma'am in Z5, and she really liked the idea, and she knew that we had the rights for it, and she liked our take on it, how we wanted to adapt it, and and then one thing led to the other, and it came out of the series.
Great. Sir, can you tell me, like, you have been a director and you also produced films, so and now you are helming the hat of a creative director, or as we call it in the OTT space, is the creator. So how does the role of a creator differ from that of a director? Like your show, your Duranga has Pradeep Sarkar and Ijaz Khan who directed the episodes. So how does it differ? And where are the overlaps?
I just want to, I think it's a very good question. And, the more and more people understand this, the better it is for at least the series industry, especially the OTT series industry. But my role is not only as a producer, but also what they call internationally a showrunner. So I pretty much run the show. Not only do I have an eye on the budget of the show, but also the creative aspect of the show. And there is a creative take and there's a creative lens that I put on to the show with the writers, and then forward it on to the directors, and it's because it's a series, it's not possible for one single person to execute, envisage, pre-produce, and you got to make at least minimum 4 hours, 4.5 hours of content, 3.5 hours of content at least.
Right.
So and you want to do every episode and every scene to its optimum, So there are people who are a specialist of going on set and executing stuff, which are the directors, So it is finally up to them and the actors to actually execute and film the stuff on set. But as a showrunner, it is my job to feed them with enough of information and enough of ideas, so that while they're filming that, I've already written out the whole series and I've already prepped with, like, for example, on this series we had 2 directors. So while Pradeep Da did episode 1 and 2, I was prepping with Ijaz for 3 onwards, and so that's how series are made. You see internationally also there are different directors for almost every episode, because they simultaneously are prepping each episode from a very technical standpoint,
Right.
So what happens is that the creative vision on the show remains one, the execution style changes as per the director.
Fantastic. Because I did not ask this question to any other person also, though the format has been like, there is one creator and there are directors. So this is the first question that popped up my mind that I'll have to ask you. So
No, it's
how
also
was it?
it's also directors now coming to terms with this,
Yeah,
because in our culturally we are driven from a film space, which is director is the only creative voice,
yeah,
but on a series it's a far more collaborative thing, collaborative
right.
space. I myself went through it and learned it while doing series myself. There were some series that I was directing, and I just couldn't understand it. What the whole equation is.
The
Uh,
Reject X?
uh,
Are you talking about the Reject X?
no, rejects. So I produced it also. So I was show running and directing that, which I
Okay.
found was very very. It's very taxing. So
Yeah.
even that was a learning for me. So I think this is a better space where so my job as a showrunner ends at prep. you know
Okay.
After I do intense prep with the directors and the actors and the HODs, then my job ends, and then it's now up to the director to execute it, and to film it. So it's a good relay system.
Okay.
And then the director then relays it back after he's done his first cut,
Okay.
of the episode.
So how was it working with Pradeep Sarkar? I know he has also directed one crime thriller, Mardani, which came in 2014, but
Mm,
his films have been varied. And so also
mm,
are yours. Like you made Basitna Sak
mm,
Babe, which has a
mm,
different plot
mm,
altogether. Drona was totally ahead of its
mm,
time. It was
mm,
totally into
mm,
VFX, superhero
mm,
concept. And this one is a pure crime thriller, though it has a romantic and an
mm,
emotional aspect as well. So
mm,
how did
mm,
you believe, or how did that belief come into your mind? Okay, this is going to click. And how was it
mm.
collaborating with Pradeep and Ijaz both?
So, first of all, thank you for acknowledging Drona. And now there are so
Yeah,
many
it is
movies
ahead
that
of it. Like, okay, please continue.
there are
I'll,
so many movies that now I see sprinklings of what I started off, almost 12 years ago, 10, 12 years
yeah,
ago, maybe more, 14 years ago. I don't know. 2008 it released. So at least
yeah,
14 years ago, what I did, I
14
can
years.
see, reminiscence in it and a lot of big films, you know. So I feel good also about it that, the problem with the first step, it's always stepped upon. So at least we started something, which is now giving a lot of hope and, energy to the younger, newer filmmakers. But working with Pradeep Da and Ijaz was very, very interesting. Pradeep Da has a very unique way of, approaching his material. We did a wonderful audio board with him, which really helped all of us also understand the show much better.
Yeah,
I got to learn a lot from him, and we vibed really well. And I think even he adapted to the modern system really seamlessly, beautifully.
okay.
And Pradeep does a child. He's the naughtiest boy in the class. You know, and the eldest, but still the naughtiest. So I think that childlike quality in him is fantastic. It's very contagious.
Okay.
And we were all feeding off that quality of his, including Ijaz.
Right.
So we prepped with Ijaz and Pradipta together in certain parts, so that
Yeah.
the synergy remains. And Ijaz was very very comfortable with the process, and because Pradipta was setting the performances, so we had to
Right.
follow his lead on the way he interpreted the characters that I made.
Right.
It was good fun. With Ijaz also. He comes from a very different school, and I wanted that little aesthetic of Ijaz's, which is not mainstream, but
Hmm.
my plot and my series is very very mainstream. So
Right.
I told him that, Ijaz, that your sensibilities into my world is, I think, a very unique combination,
Yeah.
and I pushed him into that. So if you see, the performances are very real, but the pacing and the drama and the
Yeah.
the music and
Overall,
all is very
it's
very is
yeah,
very, the packaging of the show is very
different,
mainstream. you know
energizing.
so I think, yeah, so I think that combination really really worked, between
Yeah.
Ijaz and
Yeah, you mentioned about Pradeep ji that he was kind of childlike, and I was reading your one of the stories. Like I'm taking you to 40 years back when you used to be a kid, and you and Abhishek Bachchan you created a lot of nuisance on the sets of Pukar.
Yeah.
So is it a true story that you were really banned from entering the sets by your father?
Absolutely, yeah. We broke all the swords on the set, So if you've seen Pukar, there's this whole action sequence in the end on the fort when they're fighting with the swords and stuff like that. So they obviously had a lot of dummy swords, and so we just kept on fighting with them and breaking them. They were dummy and they were supposed to break, on contact, because it's not supposed to hurt anybody. So obviously the stunt team, Mr. Virudevan, gave it to us to play with and stuff like that. So it was good fun, yeah.
And was that the time when you both decided, okay, that 20 years down the line we will make our first film?
I guess so. Yes, you could say that, because we felt really bad, we were like shoved into one tent, and it was raining also. I remember, because my dad wanted that really green feel to it all. So it was raining. We were shooting a little outside Mumbai towards Goa. And it must have been a tough shoot now that I think of it, and we must have tested everybody's patience. Abhi kaun producer director ke bete or actor ke bete ko kaun kya bolega. So I think Amit uncle only put us in that place,
Okay. No, those are actually my personal favorites, Kasme Wade and Pukar. Like Pukar doesn't show on the TV, but Kasme Wade shows, and whenever it shows, I stay glued to it. That movie has something between the brothers, between the two brothers. Yes. So
very one time before all these patriotic movies started, every 15 August Pukar used to,
No, they're not screening it now, Pukar. So it's there on the YouTube though. So how is it working with Gulshan Deve? He's a tremendously
tremendous actor, and so contagious again, his style and his approach, and the aura that he built around the set, very seamless, but yet at the same time creating a certain atmosphere on set, which is great, which is what a lead needs to do, as Drashti and Gulshan both, the actors who are the leads generally set the mood and the tempo and the execution of your work. If you have an actor who's ill-interested, or is just doing it for the money, there's a certain thing that happens on set, which I think also a lot of Gulshan and Drashti and the performances came out in the readings. I was fortunate to be part of the reading process as well. So during the table reads, and Gulshan, and you can see his the child artist also, who played a younger portion. If you've seen the show, actually Gulshan took a lot of mannerisms from the child also, and gave him a lot of his own mannerisms. It was a very beautiful process that he exposed me to, of making the child perform the grown-up Gulshan scenes during the reading,
fantastic.
So, and we were just looking at the kid performing with Drashti, how would this kid do this grown-up scene, and so there were a lot of little nuances that he figured out from him, and then both of them sat together, and it just seamlessly becomes one person playing the role, so that's just one of the examples of how amazing Gulshan is.
Fantastic, and very excited to learn that you have there's a sequel on the cards. It's not ended yet, and there will be a follow-up on that.
Yes.
Sir, Sonali ma'am, your wife, she has also has come back to the her working space, and Broken News was also received well among the people. So, any plans that you are going to make a series with her? She remains a favorite of many people in my age group.
Absolutely. She's my favorite also. And
from the days, Sarfarosh was my favorite. So
yes, definitely, I'm on the lookout. I've found a couple of stories. I think it's now we are mature enough to work together without fighting. So I think it's time that we work together now. So I'm definitely on the lookout, and I've found a couple of ideas. Let's see now how things work out.
Great. And how do you think the OTT is shaping up, for producers and directors like you? And you have brought one Korean story onto the Indian context. Do you see that is going to stay, and it is going to give you more and more opportunities in the OTT space?
Absolutely, it is going to stay because stories are stories. You can get it from a book, you can get it from a real life, you can get it from another. If you're another show, another series,
Yeah.
if you're giving the due credit and respect like we did, nowhere in the actually when you call me the creator, I'm not the creator, I'm the showrunner. The creator is the original creator. They are the ones who wrote the original thing. I only adapted it. So
Okay.
I don't take credit for created by in the series. If you see the credits, I only take developed by or a series by, which she was very thankful to give me,
Okay.
gracious of them. And so I see it as a trend, and I'm hoping and I'm seeing that there are some Indian stories also that are going to be adapted internationally. There are a
Yeah.
couple of series that I'm aware of that are in talks of adapting our Indian series into either French or European series.
Right.
So it's a good cross-cultural thing, and we've started it from Korea. I think there are a couple of other shows that have been picked up from Korea.
Right.
They will also be seen, I'm sure, adapted now that the
Yeah.
formula, so to speak, said unsaid formula has worked. But
Yeah.
it's not necessarily just a cut and paste. There is a thought process that has to go behind it. So I just hope whoever else is adapting whatever else has the Indian audiences in mind.
Okay. Great. It was really great speaking to you, Goldie sir, and we wish you all the best and all
Thank
the
you.
best for your future programs. And let
Thank you so much.
Duranga sequel also come, and it will be
Yes.
doing definitely well. And incidentally, I'm also
Thank you.
called Goldie. My nickname is also
Oh yeah.
Goldie.
Oh, hi Goldie. How are you doing?
And I'm also January born, 18th January.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even you're almost an Aquarian as well.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
You are
Capricorn.
24th, I'm 18th. So
Yeah. Oh, lovely.
that is.
Don't tell me you must be younger than me.
I think I'm
Yes.
4 years younger to you. Exactly 4 years.
Yeah. He's 79 born.
Yeah. Right.
79. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So
Okay. Lovely.
it
Lovely
was
chatting with
lovely
you.
talking to you, sir.
Uh,
Yeah.
See you soon. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.